How's it going, everybody? This is Kevin Kring with College Golf Local, and I am pumped to bring on our guest today, Adam Lotz. Adam is a friend of mine. We play golf together pretty frequently, but Adam, he's a former college golfer from Missouri. He plays college golf at SBU up in Bolivar. And Adam, I appreciate you taking the time to chat with me today. How are you doing?
Doing well, Kev. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Well, let's get started. I kind of want to hear just a little bit about your journey for how you got started playing golf competitively. Just tell me kind of what that looked like for you in the early stages of your kind of junior golf career.
So I actually started out playing baseball. My twin brother and I started playing baseball, and most of our summers are filled up with games. And then my dad took us golfing, and so we started playing golf. We took a liking to it probably when we were like 8, and kind of started somewhere along the way started liking golf more than baseball. And so we kind of transitioned, and when we got to high school, we had to make a decision. And so I think our first competitive golf tournament was not until our 8th grade year, maybe our 7th grade year. And so there were some junior PGA tournaments that we entered into in St. Louis. And so kind of got a later start in competitive golf, but nonetheless took it from there. And then high school, obviously played high school golf.
Yeah. So, I mean, did you kind of have immediate success whenever you were playing these tournaments? What did it look like for you whenever you were kind of first getting started? Was it hard?
It was. I wasn't used to competitive golf. And so competitive golf was nerve-wracking. It was totally different than baseball or basketball or any other sport for that matter. And it took my brother and I both time to get used to playing the pressure of tournaments. And we did not have immediate success. And so it probably wasn't until our sophomore year until we felt comfortable playing those 18-hole rounds outside of those 9-hole matches. So it just took time.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of those things you have to kind of have to build up your stamina. And stamina is not a word from endurance. Whenever I say it that way, it's more of a just learning to play in tournaments and go from 9 holes to 18 holes to 36 to 72.
Right.
So it kind of builds from there. So tell me, you're a sophomore, you're starting to get more comfortable playing golf in high school. At what point did playing in college start to seem like something you were maybe, thinking about?
So I always wanted to play a college sport. I think when I made the decision to play golf instead of baseball is when I decided I wanted to try the golf thing. And I really had no idea what it took. I knew I was going to try to work hard and do what it took, but I had no idea. And of course, when you're young and you have high hopes, you're always thinking the Alabamas, the Florida States, the SEC schools. And that's what I had in mind at first. And then when I started to get closer to my senior year, I realized pretty quick that they weren't calling me. And I didn't have the scores. And it didn't even occur to me that it was not a thing until I started to dive into it and realize what these guys were shooting compared to what I was shooting.
Did you know other schools?
Nonetheless.
Did you know other schools even existed? Like, did you think it was either those big time schools or like just programs that didn't exist? Or was it then you kind of like wrapped your mind around that you might be going to a lower level school to compete?
So I didn't know how many golf teams there were. I didn't know Division III schools had golf teams. I didn't know NAIA teams had golf teams. I guess I didn't know that there were that many schools, period. And so golf at the time, and it's probably still somewhat that way. You probably know more than me, but we kind of had to do our own recruiting. And I remember Dad putting together, he was a high school football track coach, and he put together our resume, if you will, and sent it out to I don't know how many schools, but if you're not playing 18-hole or 2-day matches, they're not, or 18-hole or 36-hole tournaments, they're not going to see it. So it's tough to get your name out there. It was back then. It still is, I'm sure.
Yeah. So your dad was almost acting as like your main promoter, basically. Was that what you would say?
Sure. Yeah. He stood to benefit too. Obviously, if we get a scholarship, that would help him out. But it was still took college visits, and most of our college visits, just meeting the coach, kind of invited ourselves. So.
Yeah. So, I mean, you ended up at SBU. Kind of what was it like making the final decision to end up there? Was it kind of just a clear cut, that's where it was, or were you down deciding between a couple of different schools?
So we had it narrowed down to a couple different schools. Of course, it was important to me to go to the same school as my brother. And Daryl Cribbs was the coach, and he offered us a spot on the team, both of us, and we talked it over with the parents, and we realized another big thing was having the actual opportunity to play. So I think a lot of kids may make the mistake of going to a school that sounds good or looks good on paper or has a program that's historic, and they get there and they realize they're not going to get to play. And so it was important that we're going to have an opportunity to play. It was important that we had the chance to be a part of a team that got to travel and be a part of the camaraderie. I'm glad we didn't miss out on that.
Yeah, that's the best part of college, and that's why I want to help kids find the right fit, is because it's the camaraderie, it's the family environment, it's the memories you make when you're on the road and at tournaments and stuff like that. Like that's the true kind of family. I don't know. It's a totally unique sport. It's a totally unique opportunity. So, kind of knowing what you know now, is there anything you would say to a younger Adam, or maybe a kid nowadays, about ways to make the process, I don't know, make it more realistic or easier or something like that, to end up playing in college at a school that's a really good fit for the kid?
Sure. I think attitude is everything, and something that isn't captured is an attitude. And I think, and my dad would relay this too, but having the opportunity to meet with the coach goes a long way, especially if your paper already looks good. And so just having the connections to be able to go shake a hand, it's like a job interview. And so my dad actually coaches high school golf now, and he'll say he'd rather have a team with good attitudes that's fun to travel with than a bunch of studs that are tough to get along, full of drama. So I would say, if you really want to play golf, narrow it down to schools that are realistic, schools that you're going to have a chance to play. And I wish I didn't take it for granted, because it was the time of my life. I mean, basically, Kev, you were on the road playing some great golf courses with friends that I consider lifelong friends that I still keep in touch with. And we wouldn't trade those memories for anything. And had I somehow lucked into a larger school that wasn't a good fit, I probably wouldn't have got to make those memories. So
yeah, it's all about kind of, taking the little steps throughout the years. And, like I said, you kind of started to have this dream of doing it at a younger age, and you were able to, through hard work of yourself. And I know you said your dad put in a little time as well.
Yeah.
It was all able to work out for you. So I said, it's a unique story, just because I know you come from a really small town in Southeast Missouri, right?
Yep, that's right. Yeah.
So
I think,
go ahead. Sorry.
I think I'll add to that, but if you have a chance with someone, like it's just like business. And if you know someone, or if you have an outlet to be able to put yourself in front of somebody, take those extra steps to shake hands and to treat it as an interview, as opposed to just sending out paperwork, because most likely you're going to get looked over, and then not get that chance to play golf in college, or any college sport for that matter. And it's memories that you miss out for in a lifetime. So
it's well said too, because it's the ultimate job interview too, because it sets you kind of up for the rest of your life. I mean, it gives you amazing memories. It gives you the education that you're looking for. It gives you an alumni network. As far as hiring goes, every program has an alumni network. So you're spot on with all of that. So yeah, Adam, I appreciate you taking a little time today to chat with me and kind of better educate the kids here in Southwest Missouri, both a little bit about your story, but also a path that exists for them. So I appreciate you taking some time, and I hope to see you out on the golf course here soon.
You bet, Kev. Thanks, you buddy.
All right, we'll talk to you soon.
See you. Bye.
All right.